it's all under the same umbrella of that insatiable beast, which is this woke, identity politics. And I think it was a little while ago, Woolworths actually came out and said, you know what, we're going to actually ditch all of the Australian Day merchandise. And there was actually like a really large collective backlash from that, the power of the people. And because of that, Woolworths have actually now reversed their decision to ditch selling it. And a Woolworths spokesperson actually came out, I think it was only a couple of days ago, and they said, we will be celebrating Australia Day as a team and with our customers. Isn't this wonderful? I mean, this is great news, isn't it? Like that we're actually seeing power of the people. We're seeing people make a public, cry out that we're sick of this, and then a corporation turn around and change it. But I guess the question that I have with all of this is it enough? Kel, and do you think that Woolworths or big corporations like this, do you think they've learnt from their mistakes?
Well, they lost their CEO last year, and one of the reasons that he went was because of the outcry over their decision last year not to carry Australian Day merchandise. If they thought there wasn't a profit in it, there's not a problem with that. They just put it in one corner and whoever wants to buy it can buy it, instead of which they announced they were not carrying Australian Day merchandise. That's a kind of moral posturing. It's saying, aren't we good people? We're nicer than the rest of you because we know Australia Day is a really bad idea. We think it's probably actually an invasion day and it's really divisive, so we're on the right side. That's what they're trying to say.
Yeah, but I think with these woke corporate stories, it's worth thinking about where this is actually being driven from in the organisation. So if you think about three layers of a business, and you've got the kind of C-suite, you've got the front line, and then you've got middle management. It's not the C-suite who's driving this stuff. A lot of them are old white guys who have never heard of woke politics, and it's not the front line. They want to work hard and then get home to their families. It is this middle management layer that have generally jobs that don't matter, that are trying to make themselves more important, like the marketing managers, like the HR managers, and they're the ones who are now suddenly being called out, because when you see this Woolly stuff, when you see the stuff with Jaguar, for example, where it's not resonating with customers, they're suddenly being told, hey guys, I know that you want to make your job more significant, but you've also got to make money at the same time. And I think that's the area that we need to hone in on when we're looking at these woke corporates. I
think that in America, they've done a really good job with their marketing with certain businesses. I look at Bud Light. I'm not sure if people at home are aware of this, but they used, certain marketing techniques for Bud Light, and majority of Americans said no, and they almost sent this company broke, the people. And that's the power, what people can do with these sorts of corporations. But, with this Woolworths story and the Australia Day story, I think it's really important for us to remember that it's not just about, businesses doing things. I think the whole Australia Day debate is a really important one to have, because we can see its evolution over time. We can see how it began as changing the date to abolishing the date to now you're ashamed if you want to be Australian. And it's sort of like this, like I mentioned before, this insatiable beast that's always hungry, always thirsty, always out for blood, never satisfied, always wanting more and more and more. So I guess my question is, if we continue to push back like this, do you think that we can finally put this insatiable beast to bed? Do you think that there's a point where Australians can be loud enough that we can end this? Or do you think that we've just sort of begun the process of undoing all of it?
I don't think we've even come close to losing Australia Day. You can't rewrite history. You can't pretend the things that happened didn't happen. It actually was the fact that the flag was run up on the 26th of January 1788. By 1818, the day was being celebrated as Anniversary Day. A bit later in the 1800s, it was celebrated as Foundation Day. From 1901, it was celebrated as Australia Day. It always was the day when Western civilisation arrived in this country. Not the birthday of Sydney, it's not the birthday of New South Wales. It is the birthday of modern Australia, which incorporates everyone. It incorporates the Aboriginal heritage that's here. It incorporates our migrant character. It incorporates our British Foundation. All of that is bound up in Australia Day. So it's real, it's genuine, and sooner or later, people who are running these kinds of ideologies get bitten in the bum by reality, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Unfortunately for our audience, I think they're going to be subjected to this awful Australia Day debate for most of January, so I will spare them more of that. But I think there's a broader question that we're getting to here, and that is the whole woke movement past its peak? And I was reading, there's a cracking article from my friend and Spectator colleague Lionel Shriver in the Times from the UK overnight, where she was positing the question, is the woke movement over? Now, she said in one respect, there are really positive signs. You can see that corporate DEI departments are shrinking. You can see that the podcast bros are now speaking out for common sense. You can see that preferred pronouns are dropping out of emails, all that sort of stuff. At the same time, when you can see that quote on the screen, we yearn to put this rank idiocy behind us. Still, I worry we're jumping the gun because it is so entrenched in the institutions. My question, team, and I'll go to you first, Kel, are we past peak woke, or is this a battle we're going to be fighting for some time?
We've actually been saying we're past peak woke for a while, and it's going to be hard to tell, and only the historians in the future will be able to tell us. But the signs are looking good. I mean, I think in Australia we had a vote on identity politics when we voted on the voice referendum. And it was, do you want to divide Australia by identity? Do you want people to be separated into different groups based on their family tree, or don't you? And we said really firmly and clearly, 61% to 39%, no, we reject identity politics. That's a fairly strong rejection of woke. So I think there is a tide running. I'm not sure that it's gone far enough yet, but I think there's a tide running.
Evelyn said something earlier when we were talking about Australia Day, and she said that it comes back to the kids. Now, my concern is that you look at the curriculums in Australia at the moment, you look at the university sector, and they are absolutely ideologically corrupted. And the thing that really frustrates me is whenever the left gets into power, they do their darndest to basically recalibrate the curriculums to promote a black armband view of history, to put in a particular view of the world. Whenever the right gets in, it's a laissez-faire, she'll be right mate approach. That's why I'm worried that we're going to be fighting this battle for some time, because no matter how well adjusted you are as a kid, if you go through 12 years of this stuff, it's going to be pretty hard to come out and not have that worldview.